Today I walked in the rain. I wore a yellow raincoat. I didn't go far, but I have rediscovered recently that I like walking in the summer rain.
I saw drops of the recent rain on the plant. The meadows have been cut.
Populated with entropy engines, hallucinations, high-pitched voices, alien, furrowed, full-circle, orbing ecstasy of fly-blown paranoia at the helm.
We sit there twitching, noses in our hands, trying to scent out if the other is a man.
Graffiti, motifs, ownership. What are they trying to say? No matter, words are fading away.
I went on trying to be funny. You wanted the not breathing to say something about the buildings that breathing failed to say.
The sun pouring down from a pitiless sky, amongst brilliant rising and falling points of dust, the grass crackling underfoot, the red and rootless earth, the streams have ceased to run.
White around the daffodils, all now for rent, waiting to meet us with warm drinks and putters.
Walks are memories of walks and memories of future walks, which will become more memories of walks, and so on.
The last stage of the journey along a stone precipice, through air like molten glass.
I have also walked on the former airport field in autumn. The brown yellow greens are beautiful, there in grey light.
The turmoil, the chaos, the hubbub, and the howls in the black, swirling, whirling wells of sea.
If a woman cannot walk the streets, we have to walk to where we find her, to the so-called private spaces, to her home, her invisible workspace.
The shadow is pierced.
The little lake was quiet, revealed nothing. I ate an orange.
We are all equal before death, but still it seems very important to point out the status in life.
I didn't have words for the buildings and their turned-in windows, folded into their evacuated state.
In those days, I was overwhelmed by pain and panic and walked to remind myself that I could walk.
The movement of thought, flickering flame, following for the dawn has come.
I imagined crossing over towards the sea, holding my young daughter's hand for safety.
One evening, we had run out of water. I went looking for water and passing by a house, asked where to find it.
The streams, the sewers, the network runs into more tunnels, threading their way inland from the sea, veins and arteries of salty blood.
What if I walk backwards past the gardens of pleasure that to some might look like a dungeon of white supremacy's leisure?
Chain of signification draws together disparate spaces and times.
This is not reenactment. There never was a pure form. Contingency, fragility.
The town square is empty despite it being morning. The sky is glorious and the gulls are noisy.
Flourishing and decaying, during my walk, nourishing my steps and my thoughts, while I struggle not to arrive and not to depart at the same time.
Wash your feet or find another feet to wash. Walk on water, become a surface walker, a wave walker, one foot in front of the other. Leave the depths alone.
Poor, miserable, wretched, despicable, sleazy, abject, forlorn, crummy, scrubby, dismal, sordid, foul.
To think in the face of death, speaking not of grief, but of love.
A warehouse, a blocked brick archway, tar roof ghost line.
This sensitivity enabled a consideration of sensations and inner voices, ideas, thoughts or images taking and losing shape while I was walking.
To eons of trees and landscapes of park, to an island, a little forest at the shore, filled with the summer smell of pine tree needles that is heated up by the sun.
I held my breath. Often, I did not breathe. My throat resisted the air.
Drums filling the bay, rushing now upward, fingers in ear, as quickly as dare to, confronting the fears.
No leaf unturned, no blade misplaced, no people unbothered to clean our green space.
What a bliss of being able to walk in such nature and to see the endless horizon and the joy of life.
Manhole covers, chalk marks from roadworks, wildflowers, patterns in the cracks of the pavement, colours and textures, slow looking.
To be able to walk safely, find a context, a piece of reality that is structured in such a way that it seems possible to go astray. Otherwise, we will never be able to find our way.
Put your ear to the dusty ground and hear the distant sound of a slamming door.
I don't think I can stop writing about walks now that I have started, a never-ending walk that had no beginning.
What if I walked backwards on a tiny little map stretched out over my carcass and I lost my rucksack?
We move from place on a quest to orient ourselves in the boundless.
Everything full of life and hope. The fog seems to augment the bird song. The wetness draws out the smell of vegetation.
We heard Danish quite a few times, passing others on the trail that took us through meadows, forests, and hilly groves.
Laying in bed with her small body next to mine, her breathing fast as is normal for a newborn child, my fingers touching her skin. Everything is a first. Sunburn, mosquito bites, broken fingernails, and I think of all the places I will be going to take her.
Everything that has happened remains, accumulated narrative.
My first Parisian Suriashi walk started in an honorary apartment which belonged to the Swedish dancer and choreographer Karina Rari.
I couldn't remember the parts of a building, so I held my breath. What was the name of that thing?
Beneath the soil, I can hear a sound of blistering flowers and of snails dancing together in a circle.
The shoe manufacturer, Skomakarostan, a traffic inspector and a doctor in the same grave.
I tuned my senses to the world and heard another sense of the words. The resonances gave a tone. Alas, I did not walk alone.
One beautiful day, we will reach the places where we already are.
I am propelled to keep moving, yet at every turn and step, the destination evades me.
While the steps keep pace with the direction, which always points elsewhere than here.
Oh, to lay down in the soft grass, hear the larks arising, bees, seabirds rising, falling to the sound of hearts pounding.
My walk started inside my house. I was working, and as I looked up, I saw the plant's shadow reflected on the mirror.
I remember the weekly ritual of getting my children's fingers warmed up in readiness by wiggling them, followed by the seemingly endless wait for your child's turn.
Meandering to the main road.
Something more near, though deeper within darkness, is entering the loneliness.
A woman is watching the sea and taking photos. I think she has come to find something. She isn't sure what, but she will know when she sees it.
From room to room, up the stairs and down, for hours, I move around to calm her, soothe her, to show her that it's all right, The world is here, and so am I. I walk.
Poetry portrays an experience in a meaningful way.
Nothing we imagine is absolutely impossible.
Where was my body in this walk I did, where I moved for hours between neighbourhoods and tried to read the city as it rearranged itself?
I walked through the room and past the camera. I've passed through the apartment.
Arrows scream from the asphalt. The exclamation marks of the invisible, showing the way, forcing the way.
To get lost in the view.
I saw so many pretty things, it made me feel at least relieved. I tuned my fork to the song of flowers, roaring of the earth. I felt its power in my bones and heard the humming tone.
I wanted someone to laugh on most days. That was all I wanted.
Minor perception, unconscious, happened before empiricism.
On the seashores of endless words, children play.
How might I want to have told about my walks?
Carrying her in front of me, wrapped in a long woven cloth, she looks eagerly at the trees, the clouds, the houses I pass. I walk.
Mind free, unfettered, drifting, wandering, floating, ethereal.
Are we looking for something too? We're compelled to take a shell, a memento, to prove we were there.
The rush of the sea becomes louder, closer, overground now. Open sea, will nature prevail?
On the way back to Denmark, we were separated.
We all just want fish and chips and something made local. Everything's local now in the corona COVID crisis. Local broccoli and potatoes, local people shouting out their cars.
Finally, leaving the hospital area, I imagined making my way to meet my daughter as an adult. Time shifting once again.
Took a walk with a tuning fork, and while I walked, I talked.
Walk on sunshine, walk on thin air, walk. Daydreams, walk on by, walk on moments, walk on fears, walk on feathers, walk on lucid arms.
By the fjord, the kayaks were resting. No one was around.
And what if I walked backwards from the seashore, along this pavement path with my geometric maze just below my arse?
My family first came to this area because my maternal grandmother was treated here for tuberculosis as a young woman.
In the evening, which is where I placed this imaginary walk, the bays along the coast are eerily silent except for the primal sounds of the sea.
As I walk, it is as if I receive a call from the past.
The days of avoidance